Hi everybody, it's Gardener Julia here. Happy New Year, happy 2021. Today I'm at the Vestal Garden and we have a very fun topic to talk about today. Our topic is all about our feathered friends in the sky. We are talking all about birds today and the ways that they adapt their bodies in order to survive. And our plan is that we are going to talk a little bit about birds and their bodies, and we'll finish by doing a project at home where you take recycled materials and turn those materials into beaks. Before we jump in, I wanted to show you the sign language sign for bird. I just learned it. You take your thumb and your index finger and place it to the side of your mouth. You close and you open your index finger twice. Isn't it cool how it looks kind of like the beak of a bird? Some people might have a hard time hearing and speaking, so they use their hands and eyes in order to communicate. All right, let's go learn about birds. First, what do you know about birds? What are some things we already know? Do you know what birds eat? Do you know where they live? So take a moment to pause the video and think about some things that you know. And you can even record a video of yourself telling me all the different things that you already know about birds. 2, what kinds of birds live in Portland? There are a lot of birds that live in Portland. Take a moment to think to yourself, what kinds of birds do you see when you look out your windows? Do you know the names of any of them?
You could have seen an American crow, or an Anna's hummingbird, perhaps a blue scrub jay, or a sparrow, or a black-capped chickadee, or a really cute downy woodpecker, or maybe a bird of prey like a hawk or a bald eagle, or maybe even our mighty pigeon.
All right, now let's think about how do birds help the garden? There are lots of ways that birds help the garden. Birds will eat a lot of pests that live out here. They might eat rodents or slugs or other pests that we don't want running around in our garden. They're also really great at pollinating, just like our friends the bees. And they are excellent at moving seeds all around. But my favorite reason why birds are good for the garden is that when I am working in the garden, I love to hear that there are birds all around. I love to see them coming to visit the garden. They bring me a lot of joy. Now we know how birds help the garden, but how can we in turn help our birds?
Here are 4 easy ways to help our birds. First, you can keep cats indoors. Cats are one of birds' biggest outdoor predators, so by keeping your cats inside, you are helping keep birds alive. Second, birds have a difficult time avoiding flying into clear windows, so by putting stickers and decals on your clear windows, that can help birds see where they are flying. Third, try to provide a habitat for birds. Try to plant trees and plants that birds can hide in, nest in, and eat from. And finally, turn out your lights. Too many lights from cities and buildings makes it difficult for birds to see the stars and help them navigate while they are migrating. For more information, visit portlandaudubon.org.
All right, and that leaves us perfectly into the question of what do birds eat? So not every single bird eats the same stuff. They don't all have the same diet. So you can tell what a specific bird might be eating by looking actually at the shape of the beak. My 3rd graders might remember, so let's put your memory to the test. If you saw a bird with this type of beak, one that is very short and pointy like that, you can think of crows or sparrows have beaks like this. What do you think that type of bird is eating? These types of birds often eat things like seeds, and berries and bugs. Their little beak is really good at breaking open seeds and nibbling on berries and finding and catching bugs. If you found a bird that has a really hooked and sharp beak like this, you can think of things like eagles and hawks. What do you think it will eat? These types of birds often eat things that have flesh. So things like rodents and fish and animals that might already be dead. Because this beak is really sharp and pointy and is really good at pulling and picking things apart. If you saw a bird with this type of beak, really long and skinny, you can think of a hummingbird. What do you think this bird eats? These birds often eat and drink nectar. Their beaks are really good at dipping into a flower and licking up all of that nectar in there. And finally, if you found a bird with this big bowl type beak, you can think of pelicans maybe. What do you think they might eat? These birds often eat fish. These beaks are really great at scooping up a whole bunch of water and maybe other types of seaweed and bugs and fish. Now that we have a better sense of what types of things birds eat and what type of beak is required to eat those things, we're going to do a project inside. We're going to start with our beak engineering project. All right, so what you're going to do is you are going to choose one of the 4 common beak types that we just discussed. The triangle beak that picks up seeds and berries and insects, the nectar sipping beak that is long and skinny, the raptor beak that is pointy and sharp and can tear apart flesh, the water skimming beak. Once you have your beak chosen from those 4, your challenge is to replicate and make one of those, but at home using materials that you have in your house. You can use a variety of different materials like chopsticks or clothesline pins or rubber bands, tape, cardboard, aluminum foil. There are all sorts of things that you can use in your home. Just make sure that you don't buy anything new. I'm going to be testing out the triangle seed beak and the water fish eating beak. Let's see how I did. The first test I'm going to do is for the triangle shaped beaks. I have these 3 different clips and I'm going to be testing it out on this bowl full of rice. So this rice is going to mimic the seeds in the wild. So here we try. Yes, it did. Let's see if this beak can do any better than that one. Let's see. Oh, it picked up a lot more. For my next test, I'm going to make the water skimming beak with these objects right here. If I'm successful, I'm gonna see if I can scoop up any of the water that I have in this bowl. My plan for this one is to essentially tape this little cup onto this chopstick right here. All right, so here is my beak. I can even take a second chopstick and have this act like the top of this beak. All right, here's my bowl of water. I am a pelican and I'm flying down and, oh, look at that.
If there was a fish that was swimming in this water, I think that my pelican beak would have scooped it up with all of this water too, huh?
I would love to see what types of things that you can think of. I know you're all super creative. Make sure that you send a picture to your teacher or to your classroom. We would love to see. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I will see you all next month. Bye.